Alright, now we are set up to do some cooking using our Anker Solix S2000. We got everything set up and we're ready to go. So let's run that intro and we'll get right into it. Alright, so if you didn't see my recent video of going over the little off-grid cooking setup that I got to keep in a vehicle, then be sure to go watch it before you watch this video, or after, it doesn't really matter. But on that video you'll see a more detailed breakdown of all the items. So we're just going to cook one thing at a time using our power station. The first thing is going to be rice. I already have some beef broth and some pre-rinsed rice ready to go, 1 cup of each for our Instant Pot. Then after that cooks, it'll stay warm in there even when powered down, so that'll give us time to cook up a nice New York strip steak with this induction burner. So what do you say, are you hungry? Let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing we got to do is power our unit on. There we go, still 100%. And then make sure you turn the AC on. Next we'll plug in our Instant Pot. You see we got power there, so we're good. Then we'll set it on the rice setting. Then we'll go ahead and open up our rice. Get it in there. And then we'll open up our beef broth and put it in there. Then you want to take a spoon or a spatula and make sure all of that rice is wet and underneath the broth. So there we go. Our rice is nice and submerged by the broth. Now we can start cooking. And we'll monitor how well our power station does while cooking this. It's already got an output of 1000 and it's not even on yet. So let's get to cooking. So then we'll just come down to here and we'll start cooking our rice. But I won't film the whole thing, but I'll keep you updated on how well it handles everything. So far it's drawing 1000 watts. That's a lot of wattage. I assume it will go down once it gets pressurized. It'll probably start to use less energy, but I'm really not sure. But that's what we're testing out. I don't have the solar panels hooked up, but I could. I don't think we'll need them though for this little experiment here. But if I was really even if I was just out camping or something legitly, I would hook up those solar panels so I could utilize the sun to get some free energy to keep my Anker charged up. What are you doing, bud? One thing to note, with pressure cookers, like this says 12 minutes to cook the rice. In actuality, it takes longer than that because it has to pressurize first, and that takes a few minutes. So that's going to use more energy than you might have originally thought. But we have 11 minutes for this to cook. So what are we going to do in the meantime, buddy? Huh? What do you think, bear? Get it, boy. Go get it. Go get it, boy. Go get it. Get it, boy. See, it is nice and sunny, and if I wanted to, I could pull out them solar panels and get some free electricity, but I think we're alright. So it's just now starting. It's at 10 minutes, and look, it's using no power right now. Nothing at all. Yes, it already dropped down 4%, but it's using nothing right now because it's already under pressure, and it doesn't need that much power to keep going. So pretty cool. Anker also offers an app which you can use to check out how much power your unit is using and change different settings like the charging mode and things like that, which is a pretty neat feature. So while that's still cooking, we can take some of our oil. We patted this dry steak with a paper towel previously, but we'll take some of our oil, get it rubbed in there, and take some of our salt, pepper, garlic, and go ahead and get this bad boy seasoned up. We are about done here, only 2 minutes left on the Instant Pot. Let's check our power usage. Boom, we're still at 96%. It is starting to use 1,000 watts again, but it just shut back off. It's hardly used anything. I'm actually very surprised. So I'm actually very surprised how efficient the Instant Pot really is. It's barely used any power. So that's pretty awesome. So that's definitely pretty cool seeing how efficient these are, especially if you love cooking with an Instant Pot. You can take these bad boys anywhere as long as you have a decent power station. So very cool. There we go, we're done. We'll unplug it and get ready for our induction cooker to warm up. So we'll just hit cancel and we'll leave that vent shut, but we'll unplug it, plug in our cooktop, check power there, still at 95%. It's hard to see. Medium, I think it's 275. Yeah, I think that's roughly 300 right there. So we'll go with that. Give it time to warm up a little. Check the draw. 775, so it draws less at one time anyway. I assume that it will use more power through the whole cook, but we'll see. So we have our digital thermometer here. We're going to aim for about 127 because it will continue to cook a little bit afterwards. So this will give us a good medium rare. And of course, you got to click the tongs before you start cooking. And if you want to test how hot your skillet is, just get a little water. See how them beads just bounce around instead of just dissolving? That means your pan is plenty hot enough. I'm going to throw some oil in there. Just going to react with that water. Our pan might be a little bit too hot, honestly. Yeah, I think our pan's too hot, so we need to turn it down a little bit. Okay. When you take the pan off of an induction burner, the burner turns off. She's definitely ripping hot, but hopefully we put this steak on there and it'll help cool it down. And let's check our power. It's hardly using anything again. It is on, you can hear it. Hear that steak a-sizzling. That's crazy. Only 5 watts. It did use quite a bit. It lowered it down to 93 to get it going, but it's only using 5. That's crazy. But we'll just keep cooking this up. Flip it a couple times until it reaches our desired temperature. I'll also keep checking on the power being used as well. At this point, I think it's safe to say we could have easily ran both of these machines at the same exact time. But really, it's not a big deal because the Instant Pot will keep everything warm. But I absolutely could have cooked it all at once. So that's good to know. And that's why we do these kind of tests. Alright, let's check her out and give her a flip. Decent little crust forming. See the edges of the pan, not as good as the center. It looks alright. Now we can stick our thermometer in. That way we can keep a track on the temperature. Because look, we're already at 104 and rising, so we're getting close to being done. Alright, let's check our power usage. It did just drop down. It was 500 and something. And then as soon as I hit record, it went down to 5. But we're at 90%. So, I mean, that's pretty, there we go. 646. So it goes between using power and not using power. The Instant Pot definitely used less power. But I mean, we're cooking a steak, so it'll be alright. And we're getting close to being done. Just another few more minutes. So even if it goes down to say, even if the whole power goes down to 80%, you can still cook 5 good meals. I mean, kind of ridiculous, honestly, to take this kind of stuff out and use it in off-grid, but you could. And with the solar panels, I mean, you could just keep charging and charging and charging it, and, you know, basically unlimited meals. It's not going to give you enough charge probably to use this 3 times a day, but if you use this once a day for some nice cooking, you're going to be doing alright for a long time. So I'm very happy with this testing so far. But we'll kick the steak up and get back with you. We really want to get that other side hot again. Alright, so we're reading 127 on both sides. So let's take her off. Alright, we'll let that chill for a minute. But we will put the thermometer back in it so we can monitor it. And we can go ahead and see where we're at. 89%. So 11% cooked a wonderful meal. That's pretty awesome. I'm very pleased with that. Alright, but while that steak is resting for a few minutes, let's release the pressure on our Instant Pot. Alright, all the pressure is gone, but it is still piping hot, as you hopefully can see. Can you see the steam on camera? Not sure, but it is there. Our bowl is spinning. So let's get some rice on our plate. There we go. How does that look? Looks pretty good to me. Now imagine you're out in the woods or something, somewhere hiding, camping, and you get to cook some food like this. Now, you know we got to cut it open and see how our cook is. Here's that folding fillet knife I mentioned in the other video. And that's what we're going to use to cut our steak. So let's see how we did. Take out a little slice of rooski there. A little bit of fat, we'll cut that off. She's very juicy. Where's the camera? There it is. Looks good to me, but you know we gotta give her a taste test. Man, that's a good steak. Try some rice. Pretty good. But that steak is delicious. Alright, so safe to say this was a huge success. And we only used 11% of our battery. That's pretty freaking wonderful. Man, that steak is delicious. The rice, whatever. But the steak, man, that's good. Alright, but that'll do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really impressed by this Anker Solix S2000. I mean, I bought this unit because I wanted to protect the food in my fridge, because I recently lost hundreds of dollars worth when the power went out, and I didn't have any way to power my fridge or freezer. So this is definitely a good investment, maybe one of the better ones I've made when it comes to survival and preparedness. But yep, that's it guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, leave me a comment down below on what you thought, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm gonna go finish eating. Nom, 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 nom.